Hello people, back at it again with a high effort content. Welcome people and ladies to the amazing Ultraman Day super duper fantabulicious recap thing. Here with me are a bunch of people you saw in the title, but you could probably wanted to introduce yourselves anyway. Go on ahead.
Who goes first?
Who's on first? Just someone start.
I'll go first. I'm Killer Bleach. That's it.
Please hurry up and say something, someone. I don't want to edit.
Alright, I'm Gigantis. Controversial figure and at the same time not. That's it. That's all there is.
Alex, say something.
Hi everyone, I'm Alex the Kaiju fan, the worst YouTuber here.
Okay.
Alright, now I have to introduce myself. My name's the Funnyman, and I do funny things.
Debatable. Right.
I'm also...
You done? Okay, right. Well, okay. So, today, as you probably read if you have functioning eyes in the title, me and these people are going to be talking about the Ultraman Day events that went down about 24 hours ago from the time of us recording this. First of all, general impressions before we get into the nitty-gritty.
Oh my god, just... Jack's nipples.
Yeah, definite highlight.
Jack's nipples. It's all just Jack's nipples.
I mean, that was a definite highlight, I'll give it that.
I feel like what happened, like summed up what happened is kind of like... I feel like what summed up what happened is like why they use Jack. It makes sense because it's equivalent to when Jack gets deflated in Taro.
Jack's titties are representative of the entire thing, I find. Good to look at, but not really that much substance.
You know what? I think Jack's chest is representative of how incompetent the whole entire thing was, because they couldn't even get the right Ultraman's chest to be displayed on the live stream.
Alex, what are your general thoughts of the entire thing? Hello?
He said he would be back in a bit.
Oh, right, okay.
You're really good.
That great start. Right, so now, hey, professional videos be like, okay, so first actual topic of conversation, we're going to go piece by piece and discuss every element that happened. The first thing that happened was a quarter of the screen of G'd episode 3. I
mean,
interesting choice, I'll give it that.
I mean, it started it off, so it was just, I mean, it was just a regular episode, but just, just act like the top left corner zoomed in, and I mean, it was awkward, I gotta say, just seeing 1/4 of a episode, or that, like, small. Oh god.
I mean, episode 3 is not the episode I would use to represent Jade. I would have used the Giron Starbem episode personally, but I guess episode 3 works as well.
Indeed.
I mean, the Starbem Giron episode kind of describes how the event went down as well.
It does, honestly does.
Ouch.
So in the then what did we get? We got a quarter of the screen of Orb the Chronicle, followed by a quarter of the screen of Canagon's leg, followed by a quarter of the screen of Balloonga, then Jack's titties for
And then-
2 fucking hours. That was fun.
And then
I-
I think they did that, but wait, didn't it happen a second time? It was the same thing, but was it with the ringing or was that later? I
Now
can't
the
remember.
ringing happened the first time, and then they cut off for 2
Oh.
hours to fix things.
Mm.
Then we
Oh.
get back into the real meat and potatoes. Woo.
And like almost the ending part of the Woo battle.
At least they fixed.
As-
At least they fixed the the screen. It was full screen at that point, which was
Yeah.
improvements slowly but surely. Then what happened?
Woo.
Then the non-melt civilization got destroyed with the Ultraman Day starting soon logo appearing on the screen to cover up the
They-
genocide.
they first censored it, and it was like, why'd you cut the best part? That was the best part.
We got to watch it all unfold 3 times.
Yeah. Yeah, they didn't seem to have that many clips to work with, but I don't understand like what criteria they had, because it was just like what, some Q, some 66, some 7, return, orb origin, G'd, and that's it.
Well, we did get that.
Oh, and that
Turtle
one X clip. Like it's not. I don't think it was representative enough, really, of, especially for like a pre-show thing. Even though it's just a pre-show, you can't expect too much.
Yeah.
I'm
But-
gonna be honest. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, but they do have access to more shows. More shows have been out on Blu-ray already, so
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
They could have
No.
followed my question in the Twitch chat and put some Jonius footage on, but speaking of the Twitch chat, the
Don't you
Twitch
remember?
chat was like
Ultraman Joe.
Ultraman Joe, yes.
so mama.
Right.
Oh, you know
No.
what I noticed, guys, with the compilation?
Mm.
I think at one point during the first pre-show, they showed Ultraman, Ultra 7, and Ultraman Jack. That was literally all they represented for the show era. But I think on one of the second showings of the pre-show, they didn't even show Jack
Oh, yeah.
the second time
Oh, no,
around.
they
They just
didn't.
jumped from 7 to Gi.
What was-
You notice that?
yeah, it was like, I remember it was like a Jack clip. Man,
I G'd the famous 4th Ultra show. Lovely.
sorry, yeah, the clip of that.
Yeah. But one thing I have to say, the Twitch chat was probably the saving grace. Because you had they had those people that's just like, let's go to Ryder instead. But it's like, God, Samurai fucking sucks.
or
I
the
didn't.
other
I
one-
never liked Ultraman anyway. Team Kamen Rider for the win. Where it's like, but
Or
they
the
were
other
few.
ones were like, yeah, we're hosting Kaiju Con online. Like, no offense to you guys. Like, cool that you're moving G Fest to the new day. But no, it's not very necessary to jump in and say, like, we're streaming Gamera movies if everyone's interested. Like, come on, man.
Are they Showa Gamera movies?
Okay, if that's the case, I would have likely left the stream and indeed watched Kaiju Con online with their Gamera stuff. It's not.
It's very.
I mean, I kind of persevered though. But like, something I have to say about the Twitch chat, even as I say, it was the saving grace. And apart from a few blemishes here and there, I did recognize a lot of the names, like Toku Cosplay Texas. I think that's what the channel's called. Daikaiju Legends was there for like one thing, and it was just a Pokemon emotes. A lot of people I know from the server were there. Alex was there. He said something. Some of the people who were meant to do live segments, like August Ragon, were in the chat.
Think how much of a failure it was.
Yeah. Shame about the live segments, because I was going to whip August's ass with my question. But, beggars can't be choosers. But no, the Twitch chat was pretty good. And I can't actually hate August Ragon because he likes Zubat. So, Zubata Sanjo.
Sanjo.
Zubata Kaiketsu. Sbotto Sanjo,
Tomoyo,
Sbotto Kaikets.
Tomoyo mite kure unaru muchi. Ore wa kaiketsu. Zubato sa.
Like,
Yeah, that shit's fucking good, man. I love it.
Actually, the most underrated toku ever made. But that's not why we're here. So shut the fucking up, Gigantis.
No, let's stop talking about Ultraman. Zubat. When's Zubat Day? Let's do Zubat Day. Let's just talk about this actor.
Yeah, we need a Zubat Day, honestly. Right. Okay. But then when the actual event started, well, first of all, we had half an hour of Ultraman Day starting soon, followed by the host doing the Specium pose wrong. It's a shame Bin Furuya couldn't tell him how to do that because the live segments got cut. Yeah.
He didn't do it wrong. He did the Hikari pose, remember?
My mistake.
Or the Gaia one, if you want to think about it like that.
Yeah.
Only true Chads do Hikari's beam pose.
Yeah. Right. Well, the first thing on the agenda, though, was very minor interviews with Bin Furuya, Susumu Kurobi, and the woman. You know, they were pretty insightful. I'll be honest. Like, they were some of my favorite parts. Like all the interviews in general.
It was pretty heartwarming to hear them just give their thoughts and remembering. Like when Bin Furuya said that when people started cheering him on, that's when he decided, I want to be Ultraman, you know?
Yeah.
I'm going to stick this because I believe that was him indeed, like in the actual stage show presenting. Definitely looks like him when he was like doing that, or when Fuji's actress, she mentioned that when everyone was singing the Ultraman theme at the end of that stage show, that's when also she felt that would be like the start of something great, you know?
Yeah.
And also when later on, it's in later interviews, I love when Bin Furuya mentions that his battle, I think this is what he said, but it was his experience fighting Haruo Nakajima. I believe it was specifically for the Naranga fight. He said it was one of the worst experiences ever, but it left him with a great great honor or something like that.
Yeah.
Because I think the filming conditions were kind of like iffy or something like that, or maybe the fact that he was fighting Haruo in a very heavy suit, the heavily modified Baragon suit.
Yeah. Well, the first go on, Alex.
Oh, sorry. I just wanted to say this real quick. I was also about to mention Haruo Nakajima. I thought that was really touching when Bin Furuya mentioned him and said it was just such a great honor and spectacle to be able to perform with him. It really reminds me of whenever wrestlers say, for example, they mentioned that I'm so glad I got to work in the ring with this one opponent. That's what it reminded me of. They had this sort of mutual respect for each other. And then Fuji's actress, I really thought it was funny.
I like how she's the one we don't know the name for.
Hiroko Sakurai, right?
Yeah.
I forgot her name. I'm sorry. I thought it was funny when she was saying that when she was initially filming on the set of Ultraman, that the production was really difficult, and that Eiji Tsuburaya said, "Oh, in 30 years, you guys are going to be remembered in the hearts of children, not just in Japan, but across the world." And she honestly doubted that for a while, but she had no idea that it would be past 30 years, but it would be 50 years.
Yeah.
They first had to overcome the bridge and obstacle known as Godzilla.
It's like Godzilla, but on the TV.
I actually liked when what's his name, Jeff Gomez said that. I liked when he mentioned that because that honestly is like the first impression all of new Ultraman fans have. Like for example, me, like when I started watching that like years ago, I'm like, yeah, it's basically like a monster movie on TV, and that's mainly because that's the tone that the original Showa series gives.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's like a monster movie. It like all of like here's something a little bit off topic, but all of the Tokusatsu franchises, they have a very different tone compared to what's shown nowadays with them. And especially with Ultraman, you started out with something like science fiction mystery. Each episode was a bit of like a Godzilla movie with an added superhero element with that. And then slowly as you go to the 70s, it's more wackier. it's more focused on the superhero side for kids, and then later on it's just more focused on the main superhero tropes that everyone knows about, like how the human characters, well, not human characters, how the hero himself develops as well, and so on and so on. So it's a bit of a great evolution to go from, hey, it's Godzilla on the TV to we have storytelling that's on par with the stuff that Marvel and DC do.
Yeah, it shows a nice evolution, really, over the years.
And in my biased opinion, even surpasses them at times. Marvel and DC.
It's just a shame that the thing about representing, like, change over time was not done at all in this presentation event, but we'll get to that later. So the first major thing, I'd say, was the interview with the toy maker guy. I'm just going to call him Geppetto because he honestly looks like him.
Does look like him.
So
I felt like at any moment he was going to say, who the fuck cares about Ultraman, right?
Yeah, he honestly didn't look like he wanted to be there. I'll be quite frank. It was probably one of the lesser parts of the entire event. Just because Geppetto didn't really, clearly didn't want to be there. Oh, bye, Alex. Yeah, he had no. Oh, hi, Alex. He had no real idea what he was on about. Really, he clearly didn't like Ultraman Joe. Excuse me. Yes, Ultraman Joe. Hey, I got my.
Hey, I'm making Ultraman toys, but first let me tell you how my company used to be a Giga Chad who owned both Marvel and DC's licenses.
Exactly.
Maybe a reference to Ultraman Jonas, but I don't know.
Maybe
I think that's what he was trying to imply, because I remember. Oh, Jack! Oh my God! Like I remember there was like a source. I forgot which one it was. Maybe the wiki. I don't know. But someone did mention that at sometimes they would refer to Jonius as Joe for some reason.
What, have you ever heard like anyone not in the know refer to him as Ultraman Joe?
Rip.
Or anyone in general?
I just called Ultraman Jonius Ultraman 2. The Further Adventures of Ultraman.
I just call him Ultraman the. Ultraman the. Yeah.
Honestly, I have a feeling Geppetto was a little bored with the Ultraman thing. He just wanted to go join over the writer's stream instead.
Yeah.
You just see him like sneaking onto his phone every once in a while.
Yeah, this is the progress we've made on our Ultraman toy. It's just ahead. We don't have the body yet. We've been working on this for months. Damn it.
I do find it funny. I like going a little bit on top of that you mentioned, like just a little conspiracy shit for the fans who are watching this, just to think about it. Don't you think it's a little bit iffy that they told Tokusatsu, like, okay, have your live event of the Heisei Generation's final movie the day after Ultraman Day? Like, I don't know. That feels like that feels a little bit iffy, don't you think? And it's like Toei deliberately said, like, hey, who cares about Ultraman? Put some comment writer in there, it has a bigger fan base in the West, like just give them that movie.
Blech. Right.
On the other hand, I feel bad for those who are casuals and really love Kuga and stuff like that. They see that this new movie is centered around him and then just see it and realize that his actor is not there.
Broke Kamen Rider Kuga thumbs up. Woke Ultraman nice thumbs up.
You should have seen the trailers or trailer speculations, because they also wanted Double's actor to come back. And he was
as fucking if.
Well, actor, and it was supposed to be like this. I think from what I heard is it was supposed to be like Kuga's actor was supposed to get the spotlight, but he's obviously not doing Kamen Rider. So they wanted it to be Double's two actors, but they're off doing better things. So the only one they could get left was Deno's actor.
Yeah, but even still, that's impressive because he's an A-lister.
Yeah, and he wasn't allowed to talk.
Yep, not properly anyway. Right,
Bruh.
Stop going off topic, children. We need to continue with the Ultraman Day. We are not rider shills. So,
are you sure?
Either way, the next thing that was shown was the beta capsule replica prop thing.
Look, I can finally throw away my wooden dowel, so that's a bonus.
Phew, I can finally get rid of my Gashapon toy.
And I don't have to spend $300 or something on one of the older ones. Or I bet it's going to be the same price. Who knows?
I feel terrible because I recently bought the Mebius device set that includes the beta capsule. And then I see the beta capsule replica on the stream. And I think, oh no, I think I wasted my money.
It's very white. Oh no, I think I wasted my money.
Spend $800 on an SH figure. It's Ultraman.
The Chad spending money on the Ultra Replica series. That one chick from Z, you know, that little book she carries around. Yeah.
The Gravia lady? Replica. Yeah, that one.
Yeah. Shut up! We're here to talk shit about Ultraman Day, not Bjorn.
I'm wondering if they're gonna do the spoon also with the beta capsule.
Yo, let's fucking go.
Hey, any mention of Skydon, I'm there, boy. Nah, not too much to talk about the beta capsule replica coming to the West, but then after that, we had probably the best segment of the entire show, Alex's best friend, William Winkler, talking about the production of English dubs.
Oh my god, I love that, man. That segment was the best thing ever in the entire stream, and I wish it went long for longer. Honestly, this is a bit on topic, but something that I believe that they should have reorganized some of the events. Like, they should have left the best for last. Like, for example, the William Winkler stuff, the Birth of Ultraman itself, because for some reason they played it halfway through. I'm like, okay, because it ended off more so with kind of boring stuff, in my opinion. It was cool, but it went on for too long. The final segment. But the William Winkler stuff was amazing.
You know the first segment, right? I just wanted to mention real quick, a lot of people that I was watching it with really tuned out at that part. And that's not really a good sign when people begin to tune out at the very beginning of the event. Because people were just generally bored. I mean, I was listening to them, but a lot of people were doing other things or messing around in the chat, I noticed. It was pretty funny because Cedrixar in the comment section was asking, hey, can we get some Jodius footage? And then he says Ultraman Joe. And Cedrixar says, yay.
I was a happy moment.
That was pretty funny overall. Like, but I liked, and people continue to justify like, oh, because old people boring. Realize that Mr. Bill was also rather old, and he was pretty entertaining. Because I guess there's a difference between being a toy mate. I think there's a difference between being a Geppetto, as you guys said, and then being someone who was involved with the movie business and stuff like that. It is pretty fun overall. Like, what a lovable man, you know? Like, I always love hearing his stories, no matter how many times he said them in interviews. But it's so very likable, and I actually really want to buy the X set just to watch the movie dubbed, because I really want to see. I want to hear his X voice. I'm kind of convinced that it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Like, it does feel rather odd, but fitting to have Ultraman X have a 1960s style superhero voice. I'm like, hey, they took into consideration that X is a bit of a traditional Ultraman when compared to the new gen boys.
Yeah, real quick, I just wanted to say that I was telling this to some people, but in terms, just a little bit off topic a bit, but for Ultraman X in general, this will eventually tie back to the dub, but Ultraman X is a lot more of a traditional Ultra, as Gigantis was saying, and I believe that Ultraman X is really overshadowed by Ginga for being the start of the new generation shows, as well as Orb for being the anniversary show. But I think that for Ultraman X, because I had the opportunity to see the X dub, I think the voice really fits with Ultraman X, because even though Ultraman X is supposed to be sort of a younger Ultra appealing to younger children, and Daiichi, of course, being young himself, it really fits because Ultraman X is kind of a pseudo Ultraman 1966 in a way, in the sense that he's the first Ultra to visit. He even flies in the same sphere at the beginning of the series. So I think it just really fit. It's very dynamic and serious, and I really enjoyed the dub. That's just me personally.
Yeah, it personally really does fit him overall because of that aspect of him. You know, he's very traditional in that sense, and you could say, it's mainly because of that. Because I'm really sure they really do imply that he is on the same level as the show Ultras of being that old. But yeah, going back on topic to the dub stuff, like not many people know about what his original proposal to bring Ultraman to the West was. And I'm very I was so happy to see people talking about that on Twitter and everywhere. Like, oh, I don't know, because he did mention that before in his YouTube channel videos that Alex liked to spam a lot before, and also he does mention that in a lot of interviews, like for example with Sci-Fi Japan. But seeing it finally heard on a live event here and mentioning it for a broader audience, that was pretty fun to see just the reaction to it. Adam West Ultraman.
Yep, I was just gonna bring that up. Like, again, why was that not a thing? Like, AT would have gotten so much more love if that had been a thing. I'm just straight up. Like,
7 probably beat up William.
I mean,
Ultraman 7 would beat up him. Yeah.
Oh my God, no! That was the only moment where like, Bill, what the hell are you doing? Ultraman 7, yeah, like.
Ultraman 0, son of Ultraman 7.
7 and Ultraman, like, did you know that Ultraman 7 and Ultraman 0 are related? Because Ultraman 0 is the son of Ultraman 7. I'm like, Bill, stop!
This segment was also the point in the stream where I found out that August Ragon, the guy who I was gonna whip his ass at the trivia question and win whatever prize, even if it was like a shitty pencil or a pin from him, with my bomb ass question. But then I found out he likes Zubat, so I can't be mad at him.
Let's sing the opening.
Zbato Sanjo, Zbato Kaiketsu.
Osasunai no Hiro.
Kaiketsu
Zubat. I keep telling y'all, fans, little interruption. Let's make Zubat Day a thing where we just commemorate that actor for all his roles.
Except Big One. Except Big One. Except Big One. Big One. Ew.
V3.
V3 I'm alright with. Our Ranger, sure. Zubat, holy. Like, absolutely holy. Hayakawa Ken is like the ultimate Chad.
And I think that he even has confirmed that. Oh my God, we're getting off topic, but he has confirmed that Zubat is his favorite character out of all of them. I mean, you can pretty much tell when he portrays him, he's like he's all out with that. Well, I felt him a bit more dry as Kamen Rider V3. He just felt like a copy and paste of Hongo and Hayato, just like less charming. And more depressed.
Nah, remember that time that fucking Kamen Rider V3 host Shiro something or other and Ken Hayakawa did that crossover one time? That was the fucking shit. In that one advert for that one token crossover game for the PS1.
Honestly, that thing was worth it because one, it was Ken Hayakawa, V3, and Shiro Kazami, and then you also had Gamu from Ultraman Gaia promoting that shit as well.
It was absolutely great. I mean, that's kind of related. It has Ultraman in it. But fucking whatever. Right, William Winkler interview lasts a good long while. Then we get Koichi Sakamoto, the only very good Ultraman director left.
What the hell? Okay, Eddie. Yeah. Oh, wait, no, Eddie Wang hates, or Yang, I forgot his name, hates Koichi, never mind.
Bruh. Who could hate that man? He's so lovable. And also, he's making Ultra Galaxy Fight 2.
The Return.
That's right. They announced it.
Yeah, I'm like, what? It came out, it kind of out of nowhere, right?
Nah, that honestly, that's probably the most hype announcement out of the entire show. I'll be honest.
I just hope that I think it is going to be a miniseries, right? It's going to be a miniseries again.
Yeah. Supposedly, it's law shattering and boundary breaking. and
Oh yeah, that's what Jeff
like
Gomez said.
titty shaking, and
Like,
it's like a lot. It's great,
I just
apparently.
I just hope Daichi doesn't voice X again. I do not
Oh
want to hear him
no! Oh
speak as
no!
X. That is horrible. I couldn't like the dub makes it even worse because in the original audio and the dub they got something in common. You can't distinguish Jeed from X voice wise. You two have the same voices. You two
These guys
young
are
Japanese
strong.
men.
They're using their negative energy to power their attacks. Who's talking?
You copied my Mon's armor. I'm like, oh my god, dude.
You
no,
copied
you're not
my
X.
Mon's armor. It's like, Tregia,
I would've loved
who
the
is he?
I would have loved Orb's voice
wait,
if
so
he didn't
Orb
sound like
said
he was
Tregia,
climaxing
who
when he
is
was
he?
getting his ass kicked. That's all I'm gonna
Tregia,
say.
who's he?
Triggy's an ultra of darkness.
No way,
Then-
Triggy.
No, I think the only known actor from the dub, someone brought it up, was I think Ultra Dark Killer or Zero. Their voice actor voiced Captain Falcon in an old anime, and that's about it.
I know,
Um,
but leave victory with me.
why are you so obsessed?
Oh,
Why are you
no
so
reason.
obsessed with the
I'm
dark
just
copies?
trying to make a point that there's no such thing as light and dark.
I think the
Ultraman
only voice
reboot
that I
is
really
here
enjoyed, like
from the Galaxy
the only
Rescue
voices
Force.
I loved in the the only voices I liked in the dub were Ginga, Victory, Orb,
Yes.
and
What?
Tregear.
Ginga, his best line was when he said, "Yes."
Yes.
Thanks,
yes.
Taro.
You guys always like cataloging
remember when
everything as black.
Remember
and
when they were
white.
giving the exposition for Ultra Dark Killer and Ginga saying, "Now Ultra Dark Killer is coming here." That's what Ginga said. He sounded so constipated. Ultra Dark Killer is coming.
And no offense, but a big fucking screw you to whoever voiced Taro in the dub. My
Oh
God.
yeah,
I like
fucking
Taro.
hell. Nah,
I like
Taro sounds way too young.
Why the hell did they
I
have
get
him as a
that.
narrator?
Oh,
Why did they
that's
have
what
him
being
as
young
Orb's
does to you.
presenter? Like when he
Welcome,
announces like
Ultraman
Orb,
Russo,
Thunder, Breaster,
Ultraman
like put some
Brew.
emotion into that.
Welcome to
I
the land of
suppose that's
light.
what being
It's
young
like,
does to
ugh.
you.
This is related to the dubs before anyone says we're going off topic. I actually, concerning Ultra Galaxy Fight 2, I kind of hope that if it gets a dub again, they put Mr. Winkler under the direction of it. You know, because at this point, he already, like, I'm pretty sure the Zero set that they might release, or if they release the Zero trilogy, they're going to come with the dubs he made. I'm pretty sure they are. Because he dubbed those as well.
Hmm. When
So I
is
feel
that?
like it would be very fitting if he voices. I mean, if he dubs for, if he does the dub for Galaxy Fight 2. And as to the question, when was that? He does mention in the stream that he did voice the. I mean, that he did do the Zero trilogy.
Oh,
Like
sorry,
he directed the.
sorry, I was kind of
dubs for that?
zoning out at that point. I'll be honest.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
it was a long time ago.
I
It was like shortly after those movies got shown in American theaters, the 2 plus the Victory Fight special. Apparently, select theaters got the Victory Fight special as an extra. Shortly after that, he was like about a year later, he announced that we also made dubs for the Zero trilogy, and Subraya loved them, but they never said if they were gonna get a what's it called, a
DVD release.
Yeah, DVD release. No, a theatrical release, because at that point I'm pretty sure Subraya couldn't release stuff on DVD over here, and now they could. And I'm pretty glad that they did. That they're now doing dubs. They're adding the dubs as well. And I hope that if all things go well, maybe Winkler would consider like, hey, let's dub an entire show. You know, like imagine if he ends up like giving a dub to the entire New Gen catalog, because
They should at least
speaking
go
of
back.
Mill Creek, because speaking of Mill Creek, the fact that they're getting dubs now, remember that Toku, the streaming service, they had Max's dub, which was made for Hong Kong audiences. And this is like sort of on topic in a way, but I've talked with people who archive those dubs, and they found out that there's also dubs for the rest of the Heisei Ultraman shows, well, the 2000 stuff. Not sure about Cosmos, but Nexus, Max, Mebius, and Ultra Galaxy, both seasons have their Hong Kong dubs made. So
Oh,
it would be interesting if Mill Creek and Subraya secured the rights, like, hey, We're putting those dubs on our releases as well.
No, why couldn't they do the
Oi,
Malay?
oi,
Why
oi,
couldn't
oi.
they? Why couldn't they have the Malay Ace dub? Bring me Ultraman Ace.
Wait, what are you doing way over here?
This is a big
Or
city
my-
center.
My favorite line of the Ultra Galaxy Neo
Hello
Malay
everyone.
dub.
Hello everyone.
My favorite line of the Malay Neo dub is I fight people because I want to, and it make me stronger. Like, damn, Grande, very straightforward.
Okay.
Real quick, the only issue. Oh, I'm sorry. What were you gonna say, sir?
No, I was going to move the topic on. Be quick.
Oh, sorry. I just want to say the only issue I had with the theatrical showing was that they showed X before Ginga. I didn't really have an issue with that, but it was just more of, say, people who aren't really familiar with Ultraman, it may make them think that the X movie and the series thus came before Ginga and Ginga S, when it didn't.
They did mention it in an old interview. I think maybe Winkler brought it up, but as Cydrexer said, there were some parts where I was phasing out as well. That they did that out of preference because more people like the X movie more than Ginga, and it's very reasonable. I like both movies a lot, but the X movie takes the cakes. But yeah, let's move on.
I like both movies.
Because we completely forgot about that guy who runs the Ultraman Galaxy blog talking for a bit about his history, but wasn't really that interesting, I'll be honest.
Yeah, the dude apparently worked with a lot of franchises, right?
Yeah. Then we get the Taguchi interview, which I completely skipped because I don't like Taguchi. Hooray!
Wait, the Z director?
Yeah.
Yes, Victor has mentioned this a couple of times that he's not a good Toku director, right?
Yeah, I like him.
Eddie
I think
Wang.
he's a really good director. I just don't like him as a Toku director. I think he's miscast in that role, you could say.
Damn.
But what did you think? I have nothing to say.
I think I also phased out on that one. I didn't really even pay much attention on it. I'm like, fuck. I was expecting other people to fill me in on what he said, but I'm pretty sure he just said that he hopes that the show is loved by fans internationally because, sure, Taiga had its show like fully run on YouTube without any region block, etc. Problem was there was no English subs. So to me, Zet is officially the first show that is actually shown on an international scale, despite the big fuck up that they did yesterday as well. Like, quite the irony. 2 Ultraman Day
English submachine broke.
I mean, you could watch while it was on YouTube. You could have watched it with fake English subs, where it's like you auto translate it with one of the other. You go back and it translates to English again. And what you get is basically crapstick dubs, but at least it's enough where you can follow the plot.
You can't do that as live, but last year that's what people were doing with Taiga.
Yeah.
Where they had the Chinese subs, they put auto-translate Chinese to English because the Japanese to English ones were even more inaccurate, so...
All because the subbers were too busy doing Geo and whatever. Rhea Soldier.
All right, let's make fun of the subgroups now.
Yeah, fuck subgroups. They have to hold the L on this one. Like, I gotta be honest.
Yeah, how dare you?
Yeah,
free.
I'm always told to thread lightly on Twitter whenever I make fun of subgroups because I'm like always like, oh, like now we won't have to wait like 2 weeks to get the subs for the Ultra show just because like 10 subgroups were focused on the same writer's show at the same time.
Yeah. Rider fans
to the director.
Now, Rider fans definitely have to be holding the L on this one. 2020 is Ultraman, yeah, gotta be honest. But this day didn't really help.
2021 as well.
This day didn't help, though, I'll be honest. We're gonna get... Tokusatsu Network's gonna have a field day.
Especially now that we're still gonna get the New Gen Climax movie while the 01 and Cure Minder movies get postponed.
Yes. No, I guess no one has anything to say on Taguchi's interview.
Yeah, I don't think anyone actually paid attention to that. We're all fake fans.
That was during Jeff Gomez's segment, right? Or wasn't it?
Yeah, that was in the middle.
Yeah, they added that.
I think it was pretty interesting how Jeff Gomez wanted Sakamoto, and then they show... like, they got the wrong director, didn't they?
No, yeah, he messed up a bit, but, you know, whatever.
I fell asleep, honestly, at that point.
Starring a bunch of Japanese directors whose names we could not read.
Those Japanese suit actors, I believe. I forgot.
I know I'm making a joke, Gigantis.
Shut the hell up.
Can you not hear the funny? I hear the funny. Right.
Sorry, I don't laugh at British jokes. Well, I do, but...
You do. You laugh at me all the time, you dickhead. Right. So, moving swiftly onwards, we are into the 1.5 hour talk about Marvel. Hooray.
Oh my god, I only paid attention. They repeated so much of the same points, man. They repeated so much of the same points. But it's interesting how some of them kept adding on to it. But
I'd honestly turned the stream off as soon as the Marvel bit started. I could not care. I don't like comic books, which doesn't help. So it's just like bloody. I had no interest, and when I found out that the entire rest of the stream was just that and Birth of Ultraman, which I'd only just watched like last month, it's like, yeah.
No, Birth of Ultraman was midway through the Jeff Gomez segment. They didn't play it at the end. At the end, they just had I think they had more random Ultraman clips to end it off with, and that's it. I forgot. I honestly forgot. But the Marvel segment was a bit tedious because the chat went to fucking hell when that happened. Every Discord server I was in, they were just having the same goddamn debate, man. Like, Marvel sucks. Like, oh no, they're gonna make Ultraman PC. I'm like, oh my god, how unself-aware can you be? My god, like they already said,
how unself-aware.
No, my god, I mean, like so many people were like what's it called? They like, honestly, it was so fucking horrible. Like, they've already said many times that the guys writing this aren't Marvel writers. They brought in the same writers and artists and stuff like, well, not the same artists, I believe, just like a few of the same crew who worked on the Boom Studios Power Rangers comic to do the Ultraman ones because they became fans of Tokusatsu in the process of learning about Sentai and stuff like that, which is why a lot of those Power Ranger comics have like a little references to other past or other Sentais that haven't been adapted. Same here. They're gonna do things like mix things up with the Ultraman stuff because some of the proposals they had for the Marvel stuff is quite interesting. They're not only gonna be doing the Ultraman comic, these first 5 issues are the start of an origin story. That's why it's called The Rise of Ultraman. Yeah. If that goes well, they're going to do an entire Ultra series line with that. Like, they're going to continue, like, they're going to go with Ultraman's first adventure, stuff like real main adventure. They're also doing an Ultra Q comic book, well, the Ultra Q storyline for the little, because, like, if you buy the Ultraman comic, you're also going to get as an extra an Ultra Q comic. And surprisingly, out of all of those, like, I was like, oh, really? They're bringing that over to the States. Remember the Kaiju Step, that little kids show program they have on the Subraya channel, where I don't know, it's for me, I like to call it the thing that killed the Kaiju Girls. Well, besides SSS Gridman, because same format, you have a different iteration of monsters we all know and love for a specific audience, and in a 3-minute format. No, fuck you, man. No, just specific audience, as in, whereas Kaiju Girls was degenerates such as myself. The Kaiju Step is for little kids. The point is, they're bringing over Kaiju Step, that little program for children, and they're turning it into little funny comic book extras that you'll have in the Rise of Ultraman stuff. Like, it's just little stories about the monsters and I guess how they live or something like that. I guess it's just like an American version of it, or you're just gonna poke fun of it. But that's why there's multiple artists working on this, because you have the guys, you have the guy doing the main story, you have another dude doing the his name is Michael Cho, I believe, doing the Ultra Q stuff, and then you have that one Japanese dude on Twitter who's been doing Ultraman fan art a lot, Giru Hiru or something like that, doing the Kaiju Step stuff, because that's what he's going to be doing art for. So I'm glad that they did have some connections with people who like this sort of stuff like that, and their proposals for it. And story-wise, Rise of Ultraman is going to be quite interesting, because, not to spoil so much, because if you saw the preview, you already know that there's going to be a lot of different things, but I'm not going to spoil that. But they did mention that a lot of things that we know and love of the Ultra series are going to be, I believe, nothing more than just Easter eggs or references here this time around. Whereas they actually took a concept from the Birth of Ultraman stage show that I really liked, honestly. In Birth of Ultraman, they mentioned that that the monsters come from Ultra Q, the monster dimension, whereas Ultraman comes from the land of light. And that premise is used in Rise of Ultraman. They explained that, without spoiling too much details on his origin, Ultraman comes from another realm of reality, the world of light. So here it's not even like another M Nebula, it seems to be like another dimension. And that's where the color timer comes into play. That here it's instead like how much he can exist in our plane of existence, not how much like he'll die, like stuff like that, if he doesn't get like the energy, without spoiling too much. And they use a similar premise, not exactly saying that all monsters come from Ultra Q, the monster dimension, but that whenever a monster appears, it's more like instead of it being like a natural disaster, like let's say the classic Ultra series or some of the modern iterations, or for example, Godzilla as well, reality starts to warp itself and become really strange when a giant monster appears. So that's going to be interesting. And you guys may notice some weird stuff that appears in the previews that they showed off yesterday concerning a few specific monsters as well. So I'm pretty excited for what Marvel is going to do. Although I do not like the comparison that they said that, that does make sense, that here the SSSP is a bit more like S.H.I.E.L.D. I'm like, oh, okay, that's weird.
No, it's like the Men in Black now.
Yeah, it's more like the Men in Black now, but they also said like, oh, it's kind of like the S.H.I.E.L.D. as well. Because here it's not the Science Patrol, like the same Science Patrol you know and love. They did show off some things in the stream, I believe. And even if you already saw some of the previews from months ago, you'll see that here they changed it to USP, the Universal Science Patrol, and the uniforms are far different.
I mean, this would be great and all if I liked comic books. But I do like the Easter egg angle because that'll take me back to my roots. I know that there is one Easter egg of that one suit Ultraman wore in that noodle advert where he burnt his hand on the kettle. I believe that was one. But other than that, I know little to no information about this, and quite frankly, I'm not too asked.
Yeah, it's just it's more so like I think more than Ultraman, they want to make an Ultraman story centered around reinventing the Subaraya universe as well. Because wait a moment, I gotta leave for a moment.
Oh.
All you need to know is that it's Ultraman's twist on it's Ultraman with a Marvel twist, like kept repeating every like 5 seconds.
Just like everything Marvel does.
I mean,
Sorry
if I'm personal.
Sorry about that. So there's this one Easter egg that I feel like they're not only going to be expanding to Ultraman as well, but also Redman because of one specific Easter egg in the preview. So that's why I'm like, thinking maybe they're going to be reinventing the Subaraya universe because, like I said, it involves a specific monster that many people associate with Red appearing in the. Well, I associate him. I also associate said monster to have very bad post-series suit. But with that, I already have said enough. So, but I believe that that's what they're going to try and do. They're not only going to be reinventing Ultraman, because the fact that they're doing an Ultra Q comic alongside of it, like, hey, that's pretty interesting, you know? They might as well, like, throw in stuff from other Ultraman shows. I mean, Subaraya stuff. Like, imagine later on in the comic book run, they straight up have Ultraman team up with, let's say, the Mirror Man, Fireman, etc., etc., etc. So, no, Spectrum Man is Subaraya.
Well, I was gonna say they could even bring back the more obscure Subaraya heroes like Triple Fighter.
Come on!
Although I do find funny that since like many people mentioned that since Marvel owns Toei Spider-Man, they could do crossovers with that. And with that, I'm gonna go to the next point that they mentioned. They did say that despite that in the beginning, there's not gonna be any more what's it called, crossovers because the showrunner did ask the Marvel dude like, hey, and since he's in Marvel now, tell us, is it going to be part of the Marvel multiverse or the grand scheme of things or what like that? And they said that since it's a collaboration, or I think they said that like it's more of its own self-contained thing. But maybe there is a possibility for crossovers along the line, because the only reason they did the Spider-Man variant cover was because it was a big crossing point for both companies. Marvel once again collaborating with a tokusatsu-related company, while Subaraya expanding its barriers to America with a very big company like Marvel. So that's why they did that. But they did say that if everything goes well, then there's likely going to be crossovers in the future. And I think since Marvel owns Toei Spider-Man, it's not really Toei's anymore, they could technically do that.
Disney Ultraman.
Oh my god, that's the scariest part of it. That's the scariest part of it. And a friend of mine always brings this point up, that this whole collaboration angle is a bit worrying, because it could end up like that. It could end up like that, because I think he brought up that originally originally Star Wars and Disney was also like a collaboration, and you know what the fuck happened after that.
Maybe.
Right.
Disney buys Subaraya thinking it's Toei, like, yeah, finally we'll have Power Rangers again. What are you talking about, Disney? Aren't you guys the creators of Power Rangers? No, we made Ultraman. Ah!
We made Triple Fighter. Does that count?
Here you can have the Toho property though. It's called Grand Caesars. It's like Power Rangers.
No, you
like,
can have
Triple Fighter and. Go ahead.
No, Disney can have the best Subaraya show ever conceived. Our Detective Baseball Team.
they'll have the various Subaraya heroes, and make a Power Rangers out of that, like Redman, Triple Fighter, Jumborg Ace, etc. They all no. Jumborg Ace is the Mega villain. There you go.
Well, they also got Iceman and Poseidon. They can do dinosaurs.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Poseidon has Sentai in the title, so.
Fucking Disney owning the last dinosaur. That would be some.
Warner Brothers blown the fuck out.
Right. Well, that was everything really that was shown off or announced or shown in general in Ultraman Day. The presentation overall pretty shit. I'll be honest. I really would have preferred it if they'd have, first of all, structured it kind of like a Nintendo Direct with actual edited content instead of just back-to-back unedited interviews for 4 hours. I also would have preferred a greater appreciation of the past rather than just, hey, look at all our products that we're promoting, with the last hour and a half of it being dedicated to one specific aspect. And I also would have liked them to have announced Ultraman Kiyotaka coming back for Ultraman Z, but that didn't fucking happen. And I also would have really liked to have beaten August's ass with my question and won that special signed pin. But, you know...
Just let it go, man. Just let it go.
It's whatever. It seemed like it was like thoroughly mismanaged behind the scenes, though. But
it was so mismanaged that the other collaborators, Marvel specifically, and Mill Creek, and also Tokusatsu out of nowhere, announced that they would announce their part on the Ultraman stuff. Like, it was surprising to see that Tokusatsu, like, at this point, I'm like, okay, these guys sold their soul to the writer devil, so I'm guessing they don't want anything to do with Ultraman now, right? No, they apparently did a partnership with Mill Creek to have a few things on their catalog now, and they even have some things that Mill Creek has not released yet, but Mill Creek will certainly have, apparently, according to an insider that people keep bringing up at times. And I'm like, where's the source? But it's pretty interesting. I was expecting actually Mill Creek to reveal like maybe some surprise stuff, like, maybe we're finally getting some of the Heisei shows. Surprisingly, Tokusatsu again has some of the Heisei shows, such as the fan beloved Mebius, I believe Max, and Nexus as well. No Ultra Galaxy though, only the movie. I'm gonna fucking kill myself.
We did get a Heisei reveal, but it's just Rube.
Yeah, it's just Rube. We just got Rube, and I'm like, yeah, like, whoa. I'm so interested in getting Rube on Ultraman Day. No offense to people who actually like that show, but honestly, really, it was so mismanaged that some of the other collaborators had to announce their stuff. Like it was funny how they announced their stuff just as like the stream would never happen instead. So I felt like these guys were like, okay, the stream isn't happening. Let's just give the fans what they want.
Yeah. So what were your overall impressions of the stream? Did you think it was good? Did you think it was fucking terrible?
It was decent. Halfway through, decent. Like the peak was halfway through because you had Bill, Jeff, the directors of the shows coming in, the amazing interviews with the cast, with the 3 cast members of the original Ultraman, etc. It was pretty nice to see these people come together. The beginning was pretty stale. The ending was pretty stale because they just kept talking about like how Ultraman would compare to Marvel and stuff like that, and the Marvel tropes that are going to be used, etc. Only a few key things were interesting. And that's about it. The reveals, like I said, I was expecting Mill Creek to reveal like a bit more stuff, like not only Rube, like hey, we got some mid Heisei stuff, or heck, maybe confirm the fact that supposedly, according to rumors, they do have the rights for the non-Ultra Super Aya stuff. Like supposedly they have Gridman and the original stuff like that. So it would have been interesting. Like for Ultraman Day, they also show like, hey, we not only have Ultraman here, we also have like the other stuff. So
it was
because I really want Mill Creek to release Fireman.
It was really great though when I put in the Twitch chat, you're hyped for the Mill Creek Aztekaiser Blu-ray, and people believed me.
They should have done like a reveal for the Red Man Blu-ray, except they call it Red Ray, and it's like the whole side of the disc cover is all red instead of blue.
Oh. What if the cover art was done by Matt Frank?
Ultraman Day was the best thing ever because Matt Frank wasn't in it. Let's go.
Yeah.
Joking.
Yeah. We saved ourselves from a pickle and 2 guests not appearing. Well, actually, Cedric Star wanted to kick one of them's ass. And knowledge. This isn't a friend.
Awesome.
I wanted to bend their brain with my knowledge, but unfortunately, nope. The exclusive pin is not mine, or whatever the prize would have been.
That shit was fucking hilarious though, because you weren't like not we, because I kind of phased out of it for a while. I was just focused on stream, but you weren't the only one dunking on him. Like there were other people who just dropping in. It's like, hey guys, I created RoboCop and stuff like that.
You should have
RoboCop, more like Gavin season 2.
You mean Captain Shaku?
No.
Gavin, more like Zsor.
You know what? If you did get to talk to August, though, you should have asked him to type in exclamation point Bolton.
He didn't join the server. So...
that was just some random dude who joined the server. Oh no, who was already in the server and started posing as August.
Yeah, but you know who did join the server? Matt fucking Frank. Supposedly, allegedly, Matt Frank joined.
I wonder how he got in, guys.
The hashtag
I wonder how he got
completely
in.
real. Oh my god, Matt Frank.
I can't accept it since I don't think he's even real. He shouldn't be.
This is like the thing from another world. Any one of us could be Matt Frank.
Matt Frank's all an illusion.
Is this because he's white?
That time he threatened Monster Island buddies with his Japanese katana. That never happened.
You guys are pretty cool. Don't come to school tomorrow.
You guys are pretty cool. Don't come to Ultraman Festival tomorrow.
Well, one last thing we should bring up is Z episode 4, since that was on Ultraman Day. I mean, it wasn't for me. It was on at 1:30 a.m. The next day for me. But hashtag should have been Jiras. Like,
actually, now that I reconsider it, yeah, it should have been Jiras. I kind of wanted Godzilla fans to rage at the fact that Godzilla fucking died to Ultraman again. Well, not Godzilla. You get the idea.
Nah, it would have been so great though if on Ultraman Day, On Ultraman Day, we got to like destroy Godzilla's fans even more. Like,
I mean, to be fair,
Ultraman
Ultraman
Day
X sort of
celebrates
did that.
Godzilla. What does Godzilla Day do?
I mean, in Ultraman X, they did something similar. The Gomez episode was released on Godzilla's birthday, and Gomez in that episode is straight up Godzilla. He plays the role of Godzilla, and let's celebrate Godzilla, right, guys? Our brother company's creation, but also let's fucking kill him.
It's pretty funny because Ultraman, since I believe Ultraman X, has been using the Godzilla stomp sound effect for a multitude of, not even just the stomp for Ultraman. They used the sound effect for Gomez, but also as well as Ultraman in the Ultraman X movie, and they even used it for when Ultraman Zero tapped Ultraman Z's chest. I don't know why, but that just sounds odd.
Yeah, they recently used it as well for that one video. For that one video where Zed is going around with the Ultra Brothers and asking them for those, whatever the hell those things were, those like symbols of friendship.
It's their
the
heart.
Ultra lassos. Oh, it's their heart. It's their heart. All right, that means they made Ultraman stronger. Then, like, it's not only that Ultraman was like, "Thank you, I feel your appreciation." It's like, "Haha, you fools! You made me stronger. Now I shall become Ultraman Beyond." And I guess he grabs a Jeep riser and then just starts fusing.
No, what would have been better is if Ultraman just starts like laughing and he like pulls off his suit and he reveals himself to be Ichigo.
You have empowered the rival company, and just leaves and said, "See you guys tomorrow at Tokusatsu stream." He just flies off. Even though the one that kind of flies is even though the one that flies is Skyrider, and the one that semi flies is Nego, because fucker just jumped off his bike and then punched the plane
with his head.
No, Kamen Rider J though.
Oh yeah, I remember when I think it was Toku. This is a little funny moment from the past, going a bit off topic, but we're technically done with the topic itself. Toku, remember when Toku added like a bunch of things that, like, we have the classics, we have Ultraman, Toku HD, and they had like Max, and then Mirror Man, and then a fan-made Ultraman that everyone knows, love, and well, Ultraman Star. And like I just posted like, holy fuck, guys, this is my favorite Ultraman. I just posted an image of Kamen Rider J. I loved it when he fought fake Ultraman. It's just Jay beating the shit out of Giant Shadow Moon from that one special.
Yeah.
Ouch.
I think I should have posted that next time they do that pickle again, and just be like, yeah, my favorite episode when he fights some fake Ultraman.
So, have we all summarized our thoughts, or would we like to give one final summarization before we all sign off for the evening or whatever time it is for you?
Well, I don't recall anyone else giving their opinion on the stream other than me, so let's give the other people a chance. Sorry for taking the starlight.
I could go next if you guys want, or...
This isn't up for debate, Alex. Just do it.
Just go, man. Go.
All right. So, in my personal opinion, I think that the stream was pretty underwhelming in a lot of regards. I did really enjoy William Winkler. I had the really fantastic opportunity of meeting William Winkler, Bradford Hill, who was also a prominent member of the dubbing cast. And regardless if you enjoy the dubs or not, I personally really like Ultraman dubs. Sometimes ironically, sometimes unironically, it really depends on which one. But I just think that the Ultraman dubs really present Ultraman to a wider audience, because sometimes you don't always have the time or the patience to listen to subtitles or read them. For example, sometimes I might be reading something or doing homework and I just want to listen to Ultraman with a dub in the background without having to constantly focus on every sentence in the episode. But Willie Winkler, it was really nice to hear him give some insight. He even gave... This was personally how I got introduced into Ultraman, and I thought some of the parts were funny when he said they were all smoking in the booth. And of course, mentioned that Hayata is a speed racer. That's, of course, his other prominent role before he dubbed Hayata. So I really enjoyed William Winkler. It's great to see that he's doing more in Ultraman and he has more plans to localize it here in the West for American audiences. Because of people such as William Winkler or Marvel Comics, I personally feel that as an Ultraman fan here in America, it really legitimizes and justifies a lot of my interest in it to some of my friends. Because if I were to tell people I liked Ultraman, say, I guess 7 years ago or so, not many people would know who Ultraman is. But now since Ultraman has been localized a little bit more in Western countries, it sort of adds more people to the fan base, such as my friends, or gives them the opportunity to at least know about it. I really like Jeff Gomez. He produced one of my favorite childhood movies, the Hot Wheels movie, Hot Wheels World Race. I remember watching that movie as a little kid, having it on VHS along with Rescue Heroes, some other animated movie. And I really like Jeff Gomez, just him talking about transmedia. It's really interesting because I really like learning about mass media, interpersonal media, and how information or entertainment is spread throughout time and technology. So I really gained a lot of information from Jeff Gomez's segment as well. I think the part about the comic book segment really went on for a long time. And for me personally, I think I can speak for a couple of people, but comic books aren't really a medium in entertainment that a lot of people are drawn to necessarily. For example, I don't think you would be too hard pressed to find that most Marvel fans usually become Marvel fans not because of the comics, but because of the cartoons or especially the movies. Because not many people buy comic books, and it's just like what Cedrixar said earlier. He doesn't even like comic books himself. I'm pretty indifferent about comic books. I personally don't really own any, but I think it's really neat that Ultraman is getting a comic book. But to be honest, it's just a medium that I'm not really too invested in at all. I'm more invested in movies, uh, animated shows, etc. But comic books is the medium that I'm not really investing myself into. But I felt that portion went on for a really long time, and it seemed like some of the people on the Discord server were getting really bored of that segment when they just kept repeating themselves as well. But overall, I thought it was just pretty okay, I guess, of the stream.
All right, it's either you or me.
I think I'll go with the I'll end this.
All right. I'm gonna have to steal some points from Alex, but I would say that the actual live event itself was kind of underwhelming. Other than the Marvel Comics part, which was kind of like the biggest reveal that we got, except for Ultra Galaxy Fight 2, Tale of Two Kitties, which I get saying that. I mean, they could have at least had like Mill Creek, well, besides the Rube Blu-ray we're gonna get soon. They could have at least maybe announced like if they were gonna do Tara or Leah at some point. Because like, not speaking for everybody else, but for myself, the biggest draw for me for like the Mill Creek releases is all the show us stuff. Especially with the cool lineup binders. I would say what I would call the pre-game show was probably more interesting than the actual stream itself.
Yeah.
Definitely more entertaining, I'll give it that.
Yeah.
Well, especially when the one kid made Ultraman 7 a thing.
Ultraman 7. Well,
Ultraman 7 and Ultraman Joe walk into a bar.
I would say it was. I haven't seen the faces of a lot of those people, so it was a little interesting to see the mutants behind the madness with all this Ultraman stuff going on. And I guess my last point, it'd be pretty interesting to see where the Marvel Comics go, but it's a little weird because comic books at this day and age are kind of like a dying industry. Like most comic book stores even have a time selling like the new shit that they have. It'd be kind of interesting to see if like any people new to like Ultraman will actually or are coming into like the series itself would actually maybe try and pick up an Ultraman comic instead of maybe usual comics that they or do the wrong thing and buy a manga. Just kidding. Sorry.
Well, I actually pretty much enjoyed the live stream because I got to interact with all you fellas during the madness and the macabre. But I mean, I really enjoyed it. I mean, it wasn't like horrible. I mean, not like I mean, the first part was pretty pretty shitty, but everything, was just just the information that they said on the schedule already. So you would have known what was gonna be on. But just to say something on the end, Jack titties.
Big and plump.
Iconicness. Right, so that seems to be it from us. Do you all want to say your goodbyes and plug whatever you want?
Well, this is the goodbye. So, art, I guess, stuff. Yeah. Did they die? I think they also died.
Oh, I'm still sorry. I thought you were gonna say
still
yours.
here.
All right,
Yeah.
all right. Well, my farewells. All right. Well, this was fun little podcasting. That's pretty cool. And a farewell. If you'd like to follow me for random stupid shit, my Instagram Gigantis2K, even though I'm barely active on there. For random ramblings of a madman and the occasional art, Twitter has the same handle, Gigantis2K. And then for just posting whenever I want, but a lot of community posts on my YouTube, Gigantis. And that's about it. Thanks for watching.
At Alex the Kaiju fan. You can also go to my Twitter.
I was gonna say, since we're all shilling here,
fan. But if you also want to talk to me, go on Discord at Alex the Kaiju fan. It's Alex the Kaiju fan everywhere. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to be here, Citrix Star.
all right. Okay, now you go. So you could. I only have two places really. You can either find me wandering around the different Discord servers, or either deciphering either if I'm being a jerk or if I'm actually trying to have a heart to heart, or if I post something stupid. Or you can just find me on my YouTube channel at Sakura's Feed and Seed, because Sneed's Feed and Seed meme isn't dead yet. Well, it has died. This is a corpse now. I refuse to let things die.
Let the past die.
And
Just like
thanks
Kill it
to
if you have to.
just like
and thanks
Ultraman did.
to the guy with the blue Squidward profile picture for inviting me on.
Blue
into the
Squidward, you uncultured swine. I am
It's not my
I am
fault.
the Eiffel 65 alien.
Isn't that a Doctor Who character?
No.
That looks like something from VeggieTales, not gonna lie.
Y'all fail me. Honestly, y'all fail me. Right, so
I can live with that.
I thought you had abs for a head, for a forehead.
Shut it up. I'm talking now. Right. So. Oh yeah, this was fun. Thank you everyone for coming along. Major thank you as well for the brilliant communication of Chicken Man, one of the people responsible for the behind the scenes stuff. Great fella. Really enjoyed talking to you. Hopefully you're listening to this, and if you are, hello. So yeah, this is basically me still waiting on some UK Ultraman news because I'm getting bored of paying import charges. Hopefully Zubat Day becomes a thing in the near future, and other than that, go follow me nowhere because this is the only social media account I have on this YouTube. And
Nice.
Yeah, that's it from everyone here. Hope you have a swell morning, evening, and afternoon. Don't forget to drink your cough medicine, and hopefully we'll see you when I post an actual video for once next time. Bye bye.